Hey there guys, it's your girl Tanisha and welcome back to my channel Tanisha W. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will greatly appreciate it. So your girl is back here with a story time, but a more serious one to be exact. And unfortunately, my story is still relevant today because the virus is still out there, it's still happening, and people still need to be aware what's going on. I hope that this video is informative. It helps somebody out, gives somebody comfort, brings somebody joy, hope. I don't know. I just hope it brings some good to somebody out there. So sit back, grab a stack, because this is going to be a long video because I have a lot to say. So enjoy. So this whole scenario honestly was a life-changing experience, an eye-opener. And I can honestly say I do not wish this on nobody. You could be my worst enemy and I still do not wish this on you. You can be racist and I still would not wish, I would not wish this on you. Like, it's a horrible virus. Luckily for me, I only had a mild case, but I don't wish this on nobody. So I actually remember I was making a video a few days before I got the virus, and I was joking saying that I didn't have the virus after coughing in the video. And you know what the real joke is? That days later I actually did have the virus, so that's really upsetting. If you know what video I'm talking about, then kudos to you. So let's go back to July of this year when I had my first set of symptoms. So this actually happened on the 11th. I have my phone here at the time that I was using when I had the virus. I have all my detailed notes in here. So if you see me looking down, it's because all my information is right here. So on July 11th is when I started to feel weird. I started to have a sore throat and it was just right here in the back of my throat. It felt like numbing in a sense, it wasn't really there yet. It seemed like a sore throat starting to happen. And it felt like slight acid reflux. And the thing is, I've had acid reflux in the past. I've had really bad symptoms, but those bad symptoms only happens maybe every 6 months or so. And I would have to eat something or do something really, really bad, eat something extremely spicy, which I don't really do or do at all, or eat a large assumption consumption of chocolate, a lot, 3 blizzards or something, which I do not do either. So it has to be a lot. And I was experiencing random fire burning sensation in my chest. So I just thought it was acid reflux. I didn't think too much of it. But then the next day it happened. Saturday I had more acid reflux and the sore throat was in full effect. So I took an acid reducer that I had on hand, some Tums, and just went about my business. But the third day, which was the Sunday, I still had the acid symptoms. And I'm just okay, why is this symptom still here? I honestly just thought it was acid reflux, but I'm starting to think that it wasn't. I thought maybe, okay, I'm probably getting sick, but acid reflux doesn't seem like a symptom of getting sick. So I just kind of just went on and took my acid reducers, took Tums. I drank some lemon water to help with it too. And I remember I also had a headache starting to form, a slight headache at the top of my head starting to form. I didn't really think too much of it. I just thought I was laying down awkwardly because I was laying down awkwardly a couple hours before. Also, I noticed that I was starting to have neck pain in the back of my neck, as well as these shoulder areas. I think they're called deltoids. I think that's what they're called. They both of them were hurting and they were throbbing. And the thing is, I wasn't doing any type of workout or weightlifting, not that I know of at least. So that was kind of concerning, but it's let it slide. Maybe it's just the way I was laying down, so I didn't think too much of it. So I just let it slide. So on the Monday, I woke up and I still had a very, very faint sore throat. The acid part went away completely. And I still had a slight headache, but I only noticed it when I was moving. So I just assumed it was a migraine. I didn't really think too much of it. So I was went about my day and I started to film a video. So I just had my lights set up and I was just sitting in front of the camera and I was talking. But then after 30 minutes of talking, I noticed that my throat was hurting and it hurt to talk longer for whatever reason. So I'm damn, my sore throat is really acting up. So I just took a break. And then I came back after an hour or so and I went back to filming. And this throat pain was still there, but like it wasn't as bad. But then I noticed that like I was feeling like hot, like really, really hot. At first I thought it was because like it was the middle of July and like it's really hot outside. And then I have the big lights that are really hot in front of me. So I just assumed it was that. So I ended up changing my shirts because I felt like I was sweating in the other one. But then I still felt like dizzy and like starting to feel kind of lightheaded. But like, yeah, it was lightheaded. So I just decided to stop filming altogether because I didn't feel right. I didn't feel okay to film. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just go do like one of those like tests to see if you have the virus. And I just explained all my symptoms on the little online survey thing. And it didn't really tell me anything. It just told me to go get tested. So I'm like, okay, let me just go get tested. There's a drive-in center in my city. Let me just go do it. Like, it's not a big deal. So I put on a mask, go upstairs to my family because I'm in the basement. They're upstairs. And I'm like, guys, just stay away from me because I'm not sure if I have the virus, but I think I might have the virus. And obviously they like flipped out on me for like obvious reasons, especially my mom. So I drove to the testing center. Unfortunately, I couldn't get tested because they closed half an hour earlier than they were supposed to. So I went home. And then I also felt like I had the chest pains in my chest area, but like it just kind of felt like costochondritis too because I also have that. And for those of you that don't know what costochondritis is, it's pretty much like you have a center bone here, this your sternum, and like your rib cage has like a couple of bones closest to the sternum specifically where it can be inflamed. Like if you poke it, in my case, like if I poke this area on my left side, it would hurt like hell. But if I leave it alone, it's fine. And also like the weight of your chest, like your boobs or whatever, it can impact like the pain of costochondritis. In my case, my area is very large, so if I were to reduce the size, it wouldn't hurt as much. Also, like strength training can help it. So I didn't really think too much of the chest pain. I just thought it was something I did. So also I wasn't feeling hungry for whatever reason, so I just kind of assumed I was like catching the flu. But I still ate something because like it's better to eat something. And then I went to sleep after taking an acid reducer. So the next day I woke up, I felt fine, and I just went about editing my video on another video that I had. And then I drove to the testing center, and on the way there I felt fine. Like I felt normal. Like I was dancing to music in my car. It was chill. But then I had the test done. It took about an hour to get everything done in total, to registration and everything. And they shoved that thing down my nose. Like I went there without feeling any pain, honestly. And then I came out of it with pain because when they shoved that thing down my nose, a swab, I don't know how far it goes, but like I have sinuses, and like already pressing on my face that would hurt like hell. And they're gonna shove something into my sinus area that hurt so bad. Like some people say that it doesn't hurt so much. It hurt like hell for me, and honestly I had to pull over for 20 minutes after I came out of the center because I couldn't drive. Like my eyes were watering. It was so bad. And like people, like it's so much better to wear a mask, honestly. Like you don't want to have something being stuck down your throat. It's not worth it, okay? That pain is not worth it. So that pain actually lasted me all day. Like I went home, took an Advil, and went to take a nap because I tried to sleep off the headache. So when I woke up, I like had some random stomach discomfort feeling for whatever reason. But then again, I forced myself to eat again, went back to sleep. But like later on in the night, that's where the stuff went super left. It took a 180. Like I think around 1 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to go to the washroom, and I tried to get out of bed, and it just felt like my body was super heavy for whatever reason. So I finally managed to sit up, and when I did, like my heart was racing super fast, like I was doing some type of HIIT training, and that was just from getting up out of bed. So I went to the washroom and I came back, and then I just sat there, and like I just felt my chest being heavy just from walking to the washroom and back, which is like is super close. It's literally right outside my door is my washroom. And I just felt overly exhausted just doing that. So I just sat there for a minute trying to like get my heart rate to go down, and it eventually did. And like I felt like chest pains, like I don't know how to explain it. Like it just felt like the like something is pulling. But like I was able to breathe still. So it wasn't like I couldn't breathe. I was breathing normally. It just felt weird. So once I laid back down, it kind of eased the pain. Like my head was hurting still, and I just tried to like sleep it off. So somehow I managed to try to sleep because like my head was throbbing throughout the night. Like it was really, really bad. Like, I don't know. That was actually the worst night I've ever experienced throughout this whole entire process, hands down. After I somehow managed to fall asleep, I remember waking up again maybe around 4:35 in the morning, and I woke up because I was drenched. Like my entire body was drenched. Like my covers were soaked, my sheets were soaked, both of them. The mattress protector got soaked, my bedspread got soaked, and it was everywhere. Like my wherever my body was, it just felt wet. So I had to get up and change all the sheets, put on fresh ones, get a new comforter, and then I went back to sleep. So when I woke up the next day, hours later, hours went by, and my period came. At first, I thought that the cold sweat and like the stomach pain was from the period, like period symptoms, but like that was super severe for it to be that. Like I have had cold sweat in the past, but never to that degree. Like it would just last for an hour and go away, and it was never like to the degree of soaking through so much stuff. Never. So I woke up, called my doctor to explain all this BS I went through the night before. And I explained to her all the symptoms, and based on my symptoms, she ruled me as positive for the virus. And this is like, I didn't have my results back at the time, so she just ruled me as positive. And I explained to her that I already got tested. Um, Also, later on in the day, I've experienced diarrhea. I should stop doing it. I experienced diarrhea. I just assumed because of my period that I had diarrhea because that's a normal thing. So I didn't think too much of it. But little did I know that that diarrhea was gonna last like 6 to 7 days. I think it lasted almost 10 days, cause like it came for like a couple of days and then it went away and then it came back. Like that was probably the most ongoing symptom that I experienced. So day 6 of my symptoms, I called my doctor to see if she got the results of my test results. Because in my mind, I actually gave in and thought I was positive. Like she told me I was positive. I felt like I was positive. Like I didn't want to hear nothing else but positive. But she got my results back from the center, and it turns out my test was a negative. And I was like, girl, what? What you mean it's negative? That makes no sense. Like, all the stuff I experienced makes no sense for it to be anything else but the virus. She told me that based on my symptoms, it can be a number of like the type of illnesses or like viruses, and she wouldn't know without testing. Like, if I really wanted to know, I could just go to the hospital and get tested. I was like, nah, I'm good. However, she told me to still self-isolate and quarantine for 14 days until I'm clear. So since she told me to do all that anyway, I'm just like, okay, that means I have the virus. Like, girl, this is the virus. You told me I had the virus before, and we gonna leave it as that. Also, there is a number of cases where people who got tested, even though they're positive, they show up as negative. Like, I remember reading cases where people got tested 2, 3, 4 times, and then after multiple testing, then they show up as positive. And that's really messed up. Like, the test alone is not the only way to know that you had the virus. You have to go by your own judgment, honestly, because if I listened to this negative result and just went with my family, because they were waiting for the results too to see whether or not I was positive or not. Like, if I was negative, my parents would come around me still, especially my mom. She'll be like, come around, you could be around us. And like, we had a family function to go to that weekend. And I didn't want to be the one to go in the same vehicle as my parents, then go to my family's house and infect everybody, and then everybody gets the virus. Like, that would haunt me so much. Like, I don't want that on me to infect nobody with the virus. Like, I don't want that feeling ever. So I did what I had to do, and I lied to them and said I tested positive, and I don't regret it, because if I did tell them the truth, they wouldn't listen and they would come into my area, to my space, and that would just end up in a whole nightmare, and I didn't want to have that on my conscience. So, to my family watching this right now, I did this for your own good. Okay, so day 7 was another really bad day. Like, I still had the stomach pains, the body aches, The headache actually went away, so that was good, and I still had the diarrhea. So what I noticed is that the back pain specifically was the worst. Like, I don't know why the hell that started to flare up. Like, normally I could sit up and watch shows for like a couple hours and then be okay. But that day, I tried to sit up and like read something. And like after 20 minutes, my back was just hurting so much. Like, it was uncomfortable. It just felt like it was burning. It just felt weird. Like the virus was attacking me from my back, is what it felt like. I don't know how to really describe the feeling, but like, and it kind of felt burning and kind of felt like when you're like working out your back muscles and you like overdo it. That's what it feels like, if that kind of makes sense. But like a lot worse. And also, like, I spent most of my time just laying down because it was the most comforting to do. And also, I spent a lot of time watching TV because that was the only way to keep myself sane. I noticed that going on social media, looking at Reddit information, it did help sometimes because it made me feel like I wasn't alone with my symptoms. However, looking at too much of like the coronavirus Reddit subreddits, it's like it can raise your anxiety, and that's what it did to me that day. So I just made it a vow to just stop looking at social media, stop looking at everything on my phone, and just focus on other things, because anxiety can make your symptoms so much worse. Like, once I finally calmed down, all the pain I was experiencing went down too, minus the back pain. Like, the back pain probably went away after a couple hours. I had to use a heating pad and I was laying on that because it was so painful. Like, I don't wish that on nobody. So day number 8, I still experiencing all the same symptoms I had the day before. That day I actually got a call from the Ministry of Health for Ontario. I guess they got my information from the drive-in testing center, and they wanted to check up on me, see what I tested. So I told them I tested negative, but I obviously felt like it was positive. And they wanted all my symptoms from day 1 through now, and they wanted to check up on me again. Um, and they gave me a date from when I can leave my room, and they're asking me a lot of questions like, what am I doing? Where's your family at? Are they away from you? What age range? And all this other stuff to make sure that I'm away from them, which I was because I was in the basement, so it was fine. So like this call from the Ministry of Health, it was like actually pretty reassuring. Like, it kind of boosted my mood, even though they're like random strangers talking to me, making sure I was okay. It just kind of gave me a sense of, I don't know, happiness. It's so weird that strangers made me feel that way. They told me I couldn't come out of my basement, or sorry, my room, till the 28th of July. So that's exactly 2 weeks from the day I got tested, which is the 14th of July. So technically, I was quarantined for almost 3 weeks because I was already downstairs for like a couple of days prior to. So yeah. So day 9, I didn't really have any muscle pain. Like, the back pain was very faint. There was no chest pain, no shoulder pain, no neck pain. The stomach pains I noticed occurred after eating only. Like, if I didn't eat nothing, my stomach was fine. But once I ate is when the stomach pain acted up, and I just exit everything out of my body with the diarrhea. That sounds like it was gross, but that was the most persistent symptom. So once again, I called my doctor. I actually called my doctor a lot through this scenario because like I needed answers, and like it's free in Canada to call your doctor for this help. So I was going to utilize this help. So I called her again. So I explained to her that the diarrhea symptoms were still lingering, and she told me to drink things to boost my electrolytes. So she told me to drink Powerade or Gatorade. So I normally don't drink, actually, I don't drink Gatorade at all, period. Like, I probably drank it when I was in elementary school because that's what all the cool kids were doing. And and so I sent my brother to go get me some Powerade. I actually sent him to get a lot of stuff for me because I couldn't leave my room, so I had to send him to get my snacks, whatever I needed. Even though I wasn't hungry then, because still I wasn't hungry to eat anything. Like, my appetite wasn't fully there. It was improving, but it wasn't there yet. I still wanted to eat stuff because I should be eating stuff. And I was told to stay very hydrated, so I drank about 2 liters of water a day at least. I did everything I possibly could just to get better. Like, I tried my best. So day 11 and 12, things were starting to go up into a more positive light. I actually was more hopeful. I felt like most of the symptoms were already gone and exited my body. The only thing that lingered was the stomach issues. I didn't know why that was still persisting. Um, the diarrhea was starting to like clear up with the Gatorade. That took a couple of maybe like 4 days in total because I had to drink a bottle of Gatorade a day, like one of those big bottles, like 750 milliliter bottles. And like I really had to force myself to do that on top of the water I was drinking. So I was extremely hydrated. So by the 22nd of July, all of my symptoms pretty much went away and I was starting to feel normal again, like myself. I did have like on again and off again, like stomach issues, stomach pain, but it was like it was getting better. So I spent my remaining down here just like living life. I watched a lot of shows because that's all I really allowed myself to do. I didn't want to touch too many things down here because I knew after the fact I would have to disinfect and clean all the stuff here because all the stuff down here could possibly have the virus on them, like everything. So during this time, I just made a plan of what I was going to do. So I made a cleaning schedule. I was gonna wash everything in here, including my bedspread, sheets. I had a pile of dirty clothes in here because I didn't take anything outside. So I had all my Corona clothes down here on the floor, just chilling because I didn't have a basket in here. And I was just counting down the days until I can finally leave the room and see everybody again because like I could still hear everybody upstairs because like they're up there, but I couldn't see them. So yeah, there's that. Like, even though like it's not lonely or whatever, it just felt kind of lonely because you're like when you're told to do something like stay in quarantine, it makes you not want to do it, and it was really hard honestly because like I was down here for like almost 3 weeks, and like it's really hard to just like stay down here and not leave the room because like I'm always down here, but like I'm free to like go upstairs and do whatever the hell I want to do. I can leave, I can come back, and like I couldn't do that while in quarantine. Like it was a super huge eye opener. And like you can really appreciate life when you're not in quarantine. So once again, I'm going to go over all the symptoms that I had from the beginning to the end, just so people are aware. There are some symptoms I didn't actually experience. Let me start with that first. Like I've never had any coughing. I didn't have any loss of taste or smell. I didn't have any difficulty breathing, so thank God for that. I also am considered healthy and I don't have any underlying conditions. I actually thought that acid reflux or like whatever I had, like the costochondritis could count, but I guess they don't, so that's good. So let me just go over the symptoms. This is like the symptoms I had, and this is for a mild case of coronavirus. So in my case, I had acid reflux as a symptoms. So I read that if you have like something that's pre-existing, like acid reflux, like symptoms like that can be a lot worse with the virus. So if you have depression, it'll be a lot worse with the virus. If you have, I guess, high blood pressure, it'll be a lot worse with the virus, and it just amplifies the pain or whatever. And that's what happened to me. I had diarrhea that probably lasted about 6 to 8 days, maybe longer, I don't know. It was like the most annoying symptom though. I had chest pain, muscular chest pain in both pectoral areas. I had back pain, and that was the worst symptom of them all. Like it just felt like my back was on fire, and it was horrible. I also had like fatigue. Like some days I felt really tired and I just didn't want to do anything but lay there and do nothing. So it can make you feel very exhausted, the virus. Like it can just zap your energy. Like I went from up here in energy doing all this stuff. I was hiking 3 plus hours. I was playing Just Dance for 2 hours, and this virus came and just snatched my wig and then took all this strength from me. Like that's the disrespect it does to you. I had stomach discomfort. So I don't know if that really was from the virus. Maybe the virus brought it on because till this day I still have like some stomach discomfort and I'm actually working on clearing that up. So that's months later too. So we don't know if that was from the virus or the virus made it worse. I do not know. Oh yeah, sorry, but that loss of appetite thing, that was actually pretty common. So, cause like, I can eat right now. I'm always hungry now, but like then I really wasn't hungry at all, and I had to force myself to eat a lot. I had the all day headaches. Child, those were the worst too. Like, I don't understand why would you want to do that to yourself? Why would you want to go out there and get infected with the virus and get all these stupid symptoms? I don't know why. Um, the burning chest, oh my god, that scared the hell out of me. That actually happened to me twice. The first time it happened, I coughed and the chest burning occurred. And the second time it happened was like maybe 2 or 3 days later. I sneezed and the burning happened. Like I felt like that's the Rona just bouncing around in my lungs, just doing stuff because it's fire in my lungs. And I felt it literally inside my lungs. Like that was the worst random symptom. And the cold sweat, child, the cold sweat. That also is a common symptom, and that's what I had, somewhere in the middle. Bottom line is, I survived it. I had a mild case. Thank God I survived it, and thank God I'm healthy and I'm here today, still making videos for you guys. Like I remember, I was still pushing up the videos when I was sick. Like I recorded like maybe 4 or 5 videos prior to me getting sick, and it's a good thing I did because there was no way I was gonna be able to film anything. Like I would have to take a hiatus from this channel if that actually happened. So luckily I was prepared. Also, when I had the virus, like the cases in Ontario was about maybe 250, almost 300 a day. And today, the cases per day is in the 900s. It's almost 1,000. It might as well be 1,000. Like the last few days, like over 1,500 people got the damn virus. Like it's still out there. People are still getting it. People are still not taking the safety precautions that they need to stay safe. There's people out there protesting, saying that they don't want to wear masks for whatever stupid reason, saying that virus is a joke. It is not a joke. I had it, and I don't wish it on those people that are protesting out there acting like idiots because, like, if I was evil, I would probably do that, but I'm not. Overall, guys, just stay safe. I hope like you guys learned something from my story. I hope that it can help bring reassurance. I hope that it can, I guess, open your eyes and let you know that this is real. Like Rona is still out there. It is still out there and it's still attacking people left and right, children, elderly, everybody. And luckily, I was able to get a mild case. I don't even want to imagine what a severe case could be. I'm glad I didn't end up in the hospital. I'm glad I am healthy. I actually already got all my body scans. Everything is healthy. There's no damage from the Rona, which I'm grateful for. I'll give an update about what I experienced after the fact because I don't want to make this video super long. It's already going to be long, but I don't want to make it extra long. And there's a whole nother ballgame about what happened after the fact. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for listening to my story. So take care, guys, and stay safe. Wear your mask. Deuces.